Take 100% responsibility for your life. This is the foundation. The moment you point a finger at your boss, your parents, your childhood, the government, your partner, your past, you are giving away your power. You're essentially saying, I am not in control. And that belief is the single biggest reason most people stay stuck. Let's be clear, you may not be responsible for the circumstances you were born into. You didn't choose your genetics, you didn't choose the country you were raised in, or the experiences you went through as a child. But what you are responsible for, what no one else can ever control, is how you respond to what life gives you. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't isn't luck, privilege, or some magical talent. It's the ability to say, this is my life. No one's coming to rescue me. If I want something different, I have to do something different. Blaming others feels good in the moment. It's comforting. It takes the heat off, but it also puts your dreams on hold. When you say, I can't succeed because of my past, you freeze your future. The second you stop making excuses and start asking, what can I do right now with what I have? That's when your power returns. Excuses are mental habits. Some people get so used to them that they sound like facts. I don't have the time. I'm too old. I wasn't born with the right connections. But listen, there are people with less time, fewer resources, and more obstacles who are making it happen. Why? Because they decided to stop focusing on what they couldn't control and started owning what they could. You are the only thinker in your mind. You are the only person who chooses your thoughts, your habits, your responses, your energy. No matter what happens to you, you always have the power to choose your next step. That's 100% responsibility. Taking 100% responsibility doesn't mean you won't fall, or that everything is your fault. It means you stop waiting for perfect conditions. It means you stop waiting for someone to change or apologize. It means you stop saying, if only things were different, and start saying, what can I do with what I've got? Every time you choose responsibility over excuse, you break the pattern. You rise above the noise. You take your power back, not because life is fair, but because you decided to lead it, not just survive it. Clarity is power. If you don't know where you're going, don't be surprised when you end up somewhere you never wanted to be. The truth is, most people spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning their lives. They drift through their days reacting to whatever shows up, emails, phone calls, obligations, never realizing they're not steering the ship. They're passengers in their own story. Deciding what you want isn't just about setting goals. It's about choosing direction. It's about standing in front of the mirror and asking yourself, what kind of life do I actually want? What does success look like for me? Not for my parents, not for society, not for Instagram, but for me. Don't water down your desires. Don't shrink them to fit your current circumstances. Don't play small because you're afraid someone might criticize you. The world will try to talk you out of your dreams. That's its default setting. But your job is to talk yourself back into them. Every single day. Most people don't get what they want because they never decide what they want. They say things like, I just want to be happy, or I want more money. But that's not a decision, that's a vague wish. What does happy mean to you? How much more money? What kind of career? What kind of relationships? What kind of impact do you want to leave behind? The more specific you are, the more powerful your focus becomes. When you define it, you can visualize it. When you can visualize it, you can start acting like it's already yours. But if it's fuzzy in your mind, it'll never take form in your life. Clarity requires courage. Why? Because once you decide what you want, excuses no longer have a place to hide. You can't blame confusion. You can't say, I didn't know, Once you decide, the next step becomes obvious, and with that clarity comes pressure. The pressure to act, to move, to grow. That's why so many people avoid deciding, not because they don't want better, but because deciding demands change. But here's the truth. Your life is already shaped by decisions you've made consciously or unconsciously. The decision to stay quiet when you should have spoken up. The decision to delay. The decision to say yes when you meant no. The decision to avoid risk instead of chasing opportunity. Your future is being written either by design or by default. So ask yourself, are you designing your life, or are you letting it happen to you? The moment you get honest about what you want, without apology, without guilt, without fear of judgment, is the moment your excuses start to lose their power. Everything begins with belief. Before any dream becomes a reality, before any breakthrough happens, before a single milestone is achieved, someone, somewhere had to believe it was possible. Not likely, not probable, just possible. That's the spark. If you don't believe your goals can become real, you won't act on them. You won't chase them with urgency. You'll hold back. You'll procrastinate. You'll sabotage your own progress. Not because you're incapable, but because deep down you've already decided it can't happen for you. And here's the twist. Your mind is always working to prove your beliefs right. If you believe you're not smart enough, you'll ignore every success and obsess over every mistake. If you believe you never finish what you start, you'll quit halfway just to stay consistent with that belief. Not because it's true, but because you've accepted it as your reality. Belief shapes perception, and perception shapes action. When you believe something is possible, your brain starts looking for ways to make it happen. It becomes alert to opportunities, resources, people, solutions. What used to be invisible suddenly becomes visible, not because it appeared, but because your mind finally allowed you to see it. So the question becomes, what beliefs are you living by right now? Are they empowering you or limiting you? Who told you you couldn't? Who said you weren't enough? And more importantly, why did you believe them? You were born with infinite potential. But somewhere along the way, the world started handing you limits, telling you what's realistic, what's normal, what's safe. Little by little, you bought into the lie that you're just average, just one of the crowd, just someone who should keep their head down. But deep down, you've always known that wasn't the full story. You've always felt that pull, that whisper that says there's more in you. Belief isn't about being delusional. It's about giving yourself a chance. It's about refusing to shut the door before you even walk through it. It's about deciding that your past doesn't get the final say. It's about understanding that if someone else can do it, so can you. And if no one's done it before, maybe you're the one who's supposed to. You don't need permission to believe in yourself. You don't need approval. You don't need a guarantee. You just need the willingness to suspend doubt long enough to take action. And every step you take builds belief. Every small win strengthens it. Every time you keep going when you used to give up, you're reinforcing a new story. The story that says, yes, it's possible, and yes, I'm the one who can make it real. One of the greatest mindset shifts you can make is to stop waiting until you've made it. To act like the person you want to become. Success isn't a finish line. It's a way of showing up every single day. If you want to be successful, start acting like it now, not someday, now. Most people live in reverse. They wait for the outcome before they allow themselves to embody the identity. They say things like, once I'm confident, I'll speak up. Once I get the promotion, I'll lead more boldly. Once I have the money, I'll think bigger. But it doesn't work that way. The results don't create the mindset. The mindset creates the results. So ask yourself, if I had already achieved my biggest goal, how would I walk into this room? How would I speak? How would I carry myself? How would I think, respond, dress, prioritize, plan, invest my time, treat others. That version of you, the one who's already living the dream, is not a fantasy. It's a model, a blueprint. And when you start acting like that person now, you collapse the gap between where you are and where you want to be. This isn't about faking anything. It's about aligning your daily habits with your highest vision. Because when your identity and your behavior match, momentum takes off. You start attracting opportunities, building confidence, and making decisions that reflect the future you, not the past you. Think of it like this. If you were already a successful entrepreneur, would you keep hitting snooze 5 times every morning? If you were already a best-selling author, would you keep saying you don't have time to write? If you were already in peak health, would you still keep skipping workouts and living on excuses? You can't wait to feel ready. You've got to act ready. And something powerful happens when you start living from that space. You start training your brain to accept success as normal. What used to feel out of reach begins to feel familiar. The more you repeat that identity through action, the more you rewire your self-image. And when your self-image changes, your standards change. Your expectations rise. You stop settling for average. You start seeking out challenge, not avoiding it, because that's what the next level version of you does. The truth is, people don't rise to the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their identity. So raise the identity. Don't just chase goals. Embody them. Stop asking for permission to step into greatness. The door has always been open. You just have to start walking like you belong in the room. Fear is part of the deal. If you're waiting to feel fearless before you take the leap, you'll be waiting forever. Fear doesn't disappear, it adapts. It morphs. Every time you stretch beyond your current level, fear shows up wearing a new mask. It tells you, this is too risky. You're not ready. You might fail. Or worse, people will judge you. But none of that means stop. It means go. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signal. It means you're on the edge of something meaningful. It means you've stepped outside the comfortable script of what's familiar. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's shaky. But that's exactly where transformation happens. Not in the zone of certainty, but in the unknown, in the stretch, in the zone where you feel exposed but fully alive. The truth is, no one who has ever done anything great did it in the absence of fear. They did it despite fear. They stood in front of it, shook hands with it, and moved forward anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's refusing to let fear make your decisions for you. Fear is designed to keep you safe, not successful. It's your mind's ancient alarm system warning you of danger, but in today's world, danger looks different. It's not a saber-toothed tiger, it's a judgmental glance, a critical comment, a risk that might not work out. But playing it safe doesn't mean avoiding failure. It means choosing a different kind of failure. The slow, quiet failure of unrealized potential. You will never be more disappointed by the things you tried and failed than by the things you never dared to try. Regret has a longer shelf life than fear. What if you missed your moment not because you weren't good enough, but because you hesitated, because you let the fear of what could go wrong blind you to everything that could go right? You don't eliminate fear by thinking about it. You eliminate fear by moving through it. Action breaks the cycle. Every time you do something scared, you gather evidence that you're stronger than the fear. Every time you speak up, take the step, send the email, show up anyway, you're proving to yourself, I can handle this. Waiting to feel ready is an excuse. You become ready by doing. You build the muscle of courage by using it. Start small if you must, but start. Make the call, take the step, ask the question, raise your hand, lean into the thing you're avoiding, not recklessly, but intentionally, because behind fear is often the very thing you've been searching for. Fear is not the enemy. Stagnation is. Playing small is. Staying stuck because you're scared of discomfort is the fastest way to guarantee nothing ever changes. If the voice in your head says, "What if I fall?" answer it with, "What if I fly?" There is no room for excuses in a life built on ownership, and nothing fuels excuses more than the victim mindset. It's the belief that life is happening to you, not through you, that you're powerless, that you're stuck, that your circumstances define you. But let's be clear, the moment you see yourself as a victim, you surrender your power to change. We've all been hurt. We've all been overlooked, rejected, misunderstood, underestimated. Life is not fair, but fairness isn't a requirement for success. Accountability is. The victim mindset clings to blame, blaming the economy, blaming parents, blaming teachers, blaming the past, blaming the system, blaming time, blaming genetics. But no matter how justified the blame may feel, it changes nothing. It only cements where you are. Living in victim mode may get you sympathy, but it will never get you freedom. It may attract comfort, but it won't attract growth. People who win in life don't ask, "Who's to blame?" They ask, "What can I do?" They shift from complaint to control, from helplessness to responsibility, from excuse to execution. The victim mindset thrives on language like "I can't," "It's hard," "No one helps me," "It's just how I am." These aren't facts. They're stories. Stories you tell yourself to avoid the discomfort of change. Stories that keep you emotionally safe, but also stuck. And the longer you tell them, the more real they seem even, though they're just illusions dressed as reality. Rejecting the victim mind, that doesn't mean ignoring real challenges. It means refusing to be defined by them. It means saying, "Yes, this happened, but it won't own me." It means looking life in the eye and saying, "You hit hard, but I hit back." It means shifting from reaction to intention. From waiting for rescue to building your own ladder. Nobody owes you your next level. Not your family, not your employer, not your circumstances, not even your past self. Waiting for someone else to hand you an opportunity is like standing in the rain and waiting for sunshine. You'll get wet and bitter while time passes you by. Take the umbrella, make the move, create your own condition. People will tell you to stay realistic. That's the anthem of the victim mindset. Realistic is a polite way of saying settle. You were not built to settle. You were built to choose. You were built to shape, to build, to evolve. And nothing evolves while playing small and pointing fingers. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce the belief that something outside of you controls your outcome. And every time you take responsibility, you chip away at that lie. Bit by bit, day by day, you prove to yourself, "No one's coming to save me, and that's exactly why I will rise."